Cereal time, cereal time, cereal time, whoa.
Frosting.
Life is sweet.
What's up, cereal heads? Today we're going to talk about Betty Crocker cereals. That's right, Betty Crocker once took her baking skills to the cereal aisle. These two Betty Crocker cereals were released by General Mills back in 1996. They weren't around very long and you might not recall them, but they were both very good cereals. But I guess first we need to talk briefly about Betty Crocker. This advertising icon has been around for over 100 years, first introduced back in 1921. This fictional woman was first created by the Washburn-Crosby Company, which later merged with other milling companies to become General Mills. Apparently the name Betty was chosen for this spokesperson because they thought Betty was a cheery, all-American name, and Crocker came from the last name of a director at the Washburn-Crosby Company. Betty is not based on any real person. She's completely fabricated. Even her image, which has changed over the past 100 years to reflect the changes in styles and fashions, was not based on any model for the drawing. You can see a selection of some of the versions of Betty Crocker over the years here. And when I went to the General Mills archive years ago, they had some pictures there of different versions of Betty Crocker. In the 50s, the actress Adelaide Cumming portrayed Betty Crocker in commercials as well as on TV shows and programs like the Betty Crocker Star Matinee.
And here's Betty Crocker herself.
And this is what we're so excited about.
But eventually, they kicked Adelaide to the curb and they stopped portraying Betty Crocker in live-action commercials. I guess they figured that iconic red spoon was enough to sell their cake mixes and other Betty Crocker products. Now, General Mills has already used Betty Crocker back in the day to promote some of their cereals. You can see here in this magazine ad, they had a pick-a-pack variety featuring Wheaties, Kix, Jets, Cheerios, and Trix. But those weren't cereals created by Betty Crocker. By 1996, General Mills cereals and Betty Crocker products were both very successful, so they figured a brand crossover just made sense. Now, the first two cereals they introduced were this Dutch Apple version and a Cinnamon Streusel version. Now, according to articles, they had planned to introduce more cereals in this line, but I guess that never took off. Which is strange because supposedly General Mills really promoted this crossover. According to an article, General Mills supported these new Betty Crocker cereals with the largest advertising campaign in its history at the time, with an estimated $40 million put towards it. Which is honestly kind of strange to me because I don't remember seeing much about these cereals back in the late 90s, and I was eating a lot of cereal back then. They had one commercial that I vaguely remember. Here, take a look.
Honey, how come you don't bake for breakfast anymore?
I never baked for breakfast.
Yeah, that's right. I'm confusing you with my mother.
Didn't your therapist warn you about that?
Jeez, so I'd kill for cinnamon bread or...
Streusel?
Oh, Betty Crocker makes cereal.
It's for people like you who crave home-baked taste and wives like me who leave it to Betty.
Brown sugar, cinnamon, icing swirls.
And it's low in fat. Was your mother's?
Nothing my mother made was low in fat. Except for me.
New Betty Crocker cereals, home-baked taste.
So the cereal wasn't necessarily aimed at kids, even though around 1996 they had this box of Cinnamon Streusel that came out with a promotion for The Lost World, which was a Jurassic Park movie definitely aimed at kids. This box had a cool promotion where if you opened the box and you heard it roar, you could win a Lost World adventure. On the back of the box here, they show you what that adventure entailed, including a 14-day trip to Australia and New Zealand with some spending cash, and you could also win one of 10,000 first prizes, which was a Lost World backpack. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's get back to the cereals. And first, let's start with this Dutch Apple version. You can see the iconic Betty Crocker red spoon up there, and it says it's delicious baked taste of Dutch Apple crisp. And the description here on the side says crispy flakes topped with baked apple bits, rolled oats, and brown sugar. You can see the flakes there with the rolled oats baked onto them and a little brown sugar and apple bits. Now on the side of this box they have a letter to consumers. It's supposedly written by Betty Crocker, but we all know that's a lie because there is no actual Betty Crocker. But they do assure you that you'll like these cereals or you'll get a refund by calling the number or sending a letter to the address there. Also, fun fact, there at the bottom you can see that Betty had an email address in 1996, but her address was at CompuServe.com. So I guess Betty was surfing the web using CompuServe back in the day and not AOL or Prodigy or General Mills' own network. Ah, the good old days of the early internet. I miss the wild, wild west. Now, on the back of this box, they just tell you more about the cereal. Betty Crocker bakes your family breakfast by the spoonful. They tell you the ingredients in both of these new cereals and show you a bowl of the said cereal. You'd think with all that marketing money, they would have put some of it into fun activities, games, recipes, something special in the boxes. Anyway, let's open up this box and take a look. So here's what a bowl of Betty Crocker's Dutch Apple cereal looked like. It's 25 years old, so the flakes don't hold up too well, but you can see the rolled oats and some remnants of apple bits, brown sugar, And it looks like a little insect carcasses on some of the flakes. That's not disgusting at all. I remember both of these cereals from back in the day. This one was tasty and had a nice crunchiness to it, probably from the walnut and almond pieces that were in this cereal. They don't advertise those on the box, but they were in the ingredients. Also, non-fat milk is in the ingredients, but I ate this back in the 90s before I was lactose intolerant. It had a good sweet brown sugary flavor to it. Wasn't super strong with the apple flavor though. It was good, but not as good as the other Betty Crocker cereal, and that one was Cinnamon Streusel. This one I absolutely loved. So again, you can see the big red Betty Crocker spoon up top there. They didn't put the General Mills logo on these early boxes. Described here on the side as crispy flakes topped with delicious cinnamon and brown sugar streusel. Now streusel is defined as a crumbly topping or filling made from flour, fat, and sugar. And of course, the huge selling point for me when I was younger with this cereal was this little glaze drizzled over some of the cereal pieces there. That's just a fun, cool gimmick for a baked good cereal. Now the side of this box once again had that fake letter from Betty Crocker assuring you that you'll love this cereal. And then the back was the same as the other one, with the only difference really being that there's a close-up of the Cinnamon Streusel cereal there. All right, let's open up this cereal and take a look. So here's what a bowl of Betty Crocker's Cinnamon Streusel cereal from 1996 looked like. Now good news, this one doesn't seem to have any insect carcasses in it. And you can see that not all the flakes had that glaze drizzled over them, but they did all have that delicious cinnamon and brown sugar streusel baked onto them. Now this stuff was so good, such an underrated classic from the 90s that a lot of people forget about. This cereal had a rich cinnamon cake flavor to it, kind of like those Hostess Cinnamon Streusel coffee cakes. Makes my mouth water just thinking about it. But of course, I'm not going to try this stuff because even though I can't see some insect carcasses in there, doesn't mean they're not there. And we know how disgusting 25-year-old cereal tastes. I don't want to ruin my memories of this stuff. But I wish they'd bring this cereal back. Just that creativeness of the sporadic drizzle on certain flakes was much cooler than most of the cereals that come out today. Please bring this back, General Mills. People just weren't ready for it. It was ahead of its time, but I promise you they're ready for it now. Both of these cereals, the Cinnamon Streusel and the Dutch Apple, only lasted about a year. Such a waste of a $40 million marketing budget down the drain, I guess. I'm not really sure why they missed the mark. They were both really good cereals and better than the Hostess baked good cereals that have come out recently. I think it's been over 25 years now and Betty Crocker needs to get back into the cereal game. What do you think? Do you remember either of these cereals from back in the day? Did you like them? And why do you think neither of these caught on? Let me know down in the comments. All right, well, that's going to do it for Betty Crocker cereals. Thanks for taking this trip down memory lane with me. As always, thank you for watching, and until next time, stay crunchy. How do you think the bugs got into this cereal?